Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar From the Site You Have to the Site That You Want with Coderick AI. I'm pretty sure that if you run a business and you have a website, there was at least one moment that you were like, it will be so great if I can make changes to this website easier, if I can upgrade it easier, or even if I can make a complete redesign of the website a lot easier than it is right now. It could be a website that is with an old design, or it's a good design, but you need an additional features, or the website is becoming more expensive to run each year, or maybe you cannot even find the developer who created your website. And it's like each change you want to make feels like a big risk, and you're like, oh no, I'm not touching this. I'm staying with this website the way it is. So Coderick AI fixes all of this because Coderick is an AI website and app builder that you use your words to build the thing that you need and to change the thing that you want. And once you like it, you just go live, you publish it. No need of team, no need of technical knowledge, no nothing. Today, we will start from a website that we already have somewhere else. We will rebuild it in Coderick. We will make it better than before. We'll add functionalities that the site couldn't do before. And yeah, we'll show you this new feature that we already have. So my name is Victor. I'm a product marketing for Coderick AI, and my job is to help you find Coderick AI and to understand better how to use it. So this webinar is part of my job. And the thing that I'm really excited is that I have Rennie next to me, my colleague, because she's the person that knows Coderick inside and out. So yeah, hi Rennie, thanks for being here, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, Victor. Thank you. And for those of you who joined us last time, welcome back. I'm Renata. I'm one of the product managers for Coderick, and my job is to decide what to build and to make sure that this responds to real product needs and doesn't just look good on demo. In our last webinar, we showed you how to start a new project with Coderick. And the most requested feature during it was, but how about starting for the project I already have? And this is something that we took to heart and we built a feature for it. It's called Rebuild from URL. And I'm very excited to be able to show you this today.
Yes, because everything that we'll show you, you can test it and apply it right away. You can start even with the 14-day free trial with Coderick. We'll show you how to do it. And because outside of the rebuild functionality, we want to answer as much of your questions that you have. So please leave your questions in the QA section of the platform. This will be so helpful for us. So ready to start with Coderick and move to the review part.
Exciting.
Absolutely. Let me just share my screen. So we start with, this is the interface of Coderick, but before that, I want to show you how to go to Coderick, because if you're new to Coderick AI, you haven't heard about it before, or you're just joining the webinar, the most important thing that you must know is that Coderick AI is our all-in-one vibe coding tool that you can use, as we said, to build websites or web apps just with your words. You talk to Coderick, Coderick AI builds it, then you refine it, then you add functionalities, and once you're ready, you just click publish, and your project is live. So if you're completely new to Coderick, you can go to
Coderick.ai.
Coderick.ai. Thank you. And as you can see here, you have two options to start. One is the thing that we showed in our previous webinar, to start with a prompt to build the thing that you want. And the other function is rebuild from URL, something that we'll talk in a little. But if you're already a SiteGround user, you can go to your user area, marketplace, and then you can find Coderick AI. But whichever part you choose, you can start with 14-day free trial and test Coderick. So Renny, I mentioned that previously we talked about starting from, if you don't have anything, just the prompt, just the idea. But right now, people can start with things that they have before that, before coming to Coderick.
Yes.
What are the ways?
Yeah. So if you have something, and perhaps you're someone that is more visually driven, you have seen something that you like, you can absolutely take a screenshot of it, whether this is a website that you were inspired by or a Pinterest board that you've collected some ideas from. You can upload a picture just like Victor is doing right now, and write a simple prompt like, make my website look like this, make my so and so website look like this. And Coderick will do that. The benefit of this is that it's very simple. You don't actually have to say much. Coderick will read the picture and it will produce something similar. Alternatively, if you are someone who is perhaps a designer and has created something beautiful with a Claude Code or a Claude Design or Figma, and you can export it as a file, an HTML file, a CSS file, and you can very similarly upload it into Coderick with the upload functionality. And the benefit here is that there is a lot of precision because you are uploading code. So Coderick will read this code and produce something very similar to this.
Yeah. You don't need to describe it because everything is in the file. You have already created it somewhere, for example, in Claude. Because sometimes I'm brainstorming things in Claude and I'm like, can I see this landing page? And Claude can produce the HTML and I get it as an artifact and I upload it to Coderick.
Yeah. Coderick bridges the gap between a design and something live that you can actually work with, has functionalities, and you can improve in that way. But there is even a simpler way with the rebuilt from URL functionality, and it combines both the ease of uploading a picture file or and the uploading a code, the precision of code. And you don't even have to say anything. You just you just paste the URL of the website that you want to copy, and you plug it into Coderick by pressing build. And that's it.
Easy, because we love things to be easy for you to try to do it, and this is how this functionality was born. And something that I mentioned, but if you want to refresh the design of your website, you can bring it here and just use your words. If you want to add functionality, do the same. And this is something that I was thinking for the website that we're going to use today. So this is, I'm going to show it to you all. This is something that I started not a long time ago, but yeah, at one point in time. I had this idea to collect different recipes because I love food. The food loves me, obviously. And I wanted to collect recipes at a single place, to add stories, to have this hobby website where I can do a lot of things, and maybe at some point the website can become something more.
Yeah.
Why not building a community and monetizing at some point this community and everything. But it started with just an idea of a hobby website. But the thing is that I did it with a builder.
Yeah.
Not an AI builder like a Coderick, but a regular builder. And I have this idea how I want this site to be, and I have all the blocks that I can move around, change things, add content, change images. But I find it really hard to transfer my idea, the way I see it, on the website. So at one point, it became like a second job to think about this. And I was like, maybe I need to learn more about this, to learn to read more so I can make it better.
Yeah, this is something that happens a lot with builders. You see a template you like, and you start working with it, but then you feel like there is just a tiny little thing that you want to change, move something elsewhere, and it turns out that it's not as easy as it looks, and you have to learn some new skills in order to do it. And sometimes you end up abandoning the idea just because it's not the right time. You don't really have time to learn new things, and you just leave it as it is.
Yeah, and the other thing is that me and my wife, we had this trip, which was in Greece, in Italy. And the thing is that I fall so much for the Mediterranean cuisine that at one point I was like, okay, I have this site that I started as a general recipe website. I want it now to have a more Mediterranean feel, and I want to make design to be more like this. And again, I went back to this, that I have to learn so many things, have to change so many things, have to try so many things. So when we introduced this functionality, I was like, this is the perfect thing for me. That's why we're using my website.
But to be able to help you, hopefully your business doesn't become too successful because they're like working together.
Yeah, but we'll see, because with the design, I want to actually try and add the functionality. Because usually functionalities are like a little bit challenging, even more than the design, because I need to find the perfect plugin to add it. Mostly plugins. Does it fit with the platform? Does it fit with the website? How to keep it updated? Then I stick with it. So this is something which was a little bit scary for me. But okay, let's start with the rebuild from URL. I'm taking the URL of the website, and I can just paste it here.
Yeah, just
and
plug it
click
into
go.
Coderick and click go. Exactly. And what Coderick does, it starts it visits your website just as any AI bot would do. It goes to all the pages, it takes pictures of them, it goes to the code, it downloads it, and then uses all these artifacts that it's collected to reproduce the font, the design, the colors, the images, and the text of your website, so that you have a really good stepping stone for the rebuild. And Coderick does this for the first 5 pages of your website. We take these 5 pages as the top pages from the sitemap. And the reason for this is that usually sites have 3 to 4 pages that are the most visited, so it gives you a really good landing ground to go from. However, if this is not enough for you, or perhaps there is something that you really want to have on your website, and for one reason or another, Coderick didn't bring it there, you could always upload it as a file, just as we showed, and Coderick is going to include that page in your or pages in your website.
Yeah, but the thing is, starting with 5 pages is usually a great starting point.
Yeah.
Because if you're rebuilding your website, you have this idea to make something new and to keep something from the old.
And it actually takes a while to run the more pages you have. And this is one of the reasons why we actually rebuilt the website before. And we copied the website into Coderick before we started, so that we don't have to sit around and wait for it, because it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to do it, so that we can actually show you a few even cooler features that we can do.
So this is the only thing that we did is the thing that we showed you. Paste the URL, click go. It has to be your own website, of course, because it's taking the content, the images. As we can see, this is everything that Coderick did in those like 7, 8, 10 minutes, depending on your website. And we have it here. This is the original website.
Yeah, we don't do anything to the original website. We just visit it. So you can rest assured that nothing's happened to it. It's still live, it's still there. And we just brought a copy of it over to Coderick in a project so that you can work with it and experiment. And if you feel confident, you can publish it after.
Yeah, this is the original website. with some information about what you can expect, some of the recipes that I've
Yeah.
already had, and about me section. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a chef, but this doesn't mean that I cannot like great good food.
Of course.
So I'm trying this, and this is the rebuild version. As you can see, the logo, the images are the same, the content, and
The
the
recipes.
recipes. Yeah, and we have here the about me section as well, with the same images and the same text.
Yeah, so we brought over the main parts. I think I like it's very similar. But yeah, let's try to make it better.
Yeah, and because something that I mentioned is I had this the urge to make this change,
Yeah.
to make my site feel more Mediterranean, because I want to make this pivot to more Mediterranean food, not just a general recipes, but at the same time, the things that I already had, I wanted to keep them in my website. So I want to keep building on top of that. But to start with the feeling of the website, obviously we have to make some changes of the design. That's why, because it will be a bigger change.
Yeah, it is a bigger change because, as most of you probably know, a design change does not affect only the homepage. It's not
Yes.
just change of colors. It is an entire thing.
Yeah.
And it also takes 5, 6, 7 minutes to do it for this website. So what we did was, again, run it ahead of time just to make sure that we have sufficient time for more iterations and for more changes.
Features. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
really like features, and I really want to add some features. But this also gives us an opportunity to show you the revert function. I really like it because I love experimenting with Coderick. When I'm building something, when I'm testing a web app that I've created, I always there's this moment that I'm like, why don't I just try something a little bit more crazy, a functionality that maybe it won't fit the thing that I'm building. So when I try this, I know that I will always have this safe net. I can just press revert to the version that I've already liked. So in this case, we are reverting to the prompt that we use to make the change of the design,
Yeah.
to make a complete overhaul. And
It is very different. Let's see
yes,
what we
it's
can
very
connect
different.
to do.
Yeah, I said now I want to change the design a little bit. It's not so little bit, but I wanted a big change. I'll be turning this into Mediterranean focused recipe website, and I want the design to match, because
Of course.
sometimes, yeah, you're making a pivot and you want things to match what your next objective and your next goal is. So redesign it with the Greek feel, because Greece is a great place and the food there it's
Yeah, it's
actually
amazing.
great. Uh, Keep my current content because this is important for me, and feel free to add new relevant one, because when we're making a bigger change, maybe the design will need some additional things like a text here and there, images. So we're giving the freedom of Coderick to do this. And a little cheat sheet that I have. Usually when I'm making websites with Coderick, I'm adding this make it awards level design, because this is the site that gives award to the best websites, which means that I don't have to think what is the best design for my website. I'm just giving a direction to Coderick.
Yeah, that's a great thing about Coderick, that it is aware of what a good design is in 2026. And it just does it. You don't have to direct it in a very specific way, but you can just say, "Oh, I want this to be great," and Coderick will make it great. You can think of it as an entire team of professionals who are here to help you build the best online presence for your business or for your hobby website for recipes. And when you ask it to redesign something, Coderick puts his designer hat on and turns into a proficient UX UI designer who will build a website that truly feels current. Coderick will think about all the things that we failed to mention What about mobile? What about accessibility?
Yeah,
Coderic
I
will
can see
cover
it here
this.
in everything that Coderick is saying because this is great actually.
Yeah, and it translates your direction of a more Mediterranean feel and our awesome website uh, into actions that could then be translated into code. And Coderic then turns into developer who codes up your website.
Yeah, it's like having the complete team that you need to build your website,
The
just like
dream team,
the
we
dream
would say.
team. Yeah, because I can see here because Codric understands what type of site is this because this is hobby website for recipes. But if it's your website for a small business or consultants agency, when you're making a design changes, Codric will understand that, and it will make the design more suitable for your website. Because this is because I can see here that
Yeah.
I just said Greek, Mediterranean, and Codric is like the design concept is sun bleach, hygiene, cookbook, warmth of terracotta, and etc., because it understands what it needs to do.
Yeah, and on the contrary, if you are someone who knows what they want, as we said before, and you can direct Coderic in a specific direction, and you can tell, oh, I want such and such typography, whatever design system, use these fonts, these images. Anything like that, Coderic is not going to interfere with your direction, and it's just going to go directly to build because of course you know best what you want, and Coderic is not going to make a mess of this.
Yeah, and this is the updated design that we did with just one prompt.
I think it's
Just
much
a
better.
quick switch. Yeah, we started from this. We started from this, and now we are here with more animations with these elements which are like Greek inspired. And the thing is that, as you can see, where the Mediterranean sun meets the kitchen table, Codrix is also a copywriter, so it can add texts that you can after that change, or if you like it, you can keep it. But I already start feeling the new Mediterranean soul of my website. But as working with the designers or developers, as I'm sure many of you have experience in this, and many of you are actually maybe developers and designers, you know that this is a process of iteration. And in this case, you just keep talking to Codric. But for now, I think that I'm good with this design. There's just a couple of things that I'm seeing. Uh, because this is the title of my website of my original more general website.
Yeah.
I think that I need to make some small changes.
Okay, yeah. So uh, small changes are very easily made with the visual edit functionality. It is meant to be a point, click, and fix functionality. So if you see something there, it is a very quick fix. You don't have to go back, prompt Coderic, direct it where exactly you want to change the text, what to change it to. It is much easier to just go in yourself and just type it whatever you want it to say. And when you're done with the change, you just save it and that's it. And the best part is that it's free. It doesn't take any credits. And you see the change immediately. You don't have to wait at all.
Yeah, I have to still to make some still changes here to make the headline fit better. But I think that this is the direction that I'm going with this. And actually, because while browsing, I saw this about page.
Yeah.
And Rennie, I'm sure you're thinking that this is me as a little kid, but no, it's not me. And I want to change it to something more personal and to add a picture of me.
Yeah,
And I
and of
think
course
that,
it's your website, so I think that a picture of you would fit very well here.
and I have a really good picture for this part. It's from the trip that I took with my wife in Italy, so it fits very well with the Mediterranean theme that now we have.
You're very cute and a
Thank you.
little bit younger.
Yes. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for noticing. I was hoping that
You look the
you
same.
didn't notice this, but Rennie always has my back. And the thing is that something that I'm seeing right now, because Coderick is taking the content of the website
Exactly as it is.
exactly this, and I had this typo, so I'm gonna use this moment to change this and to make it the way it should be. It should be
Yeah, the
correct.
correct way.
Yeah, because the website is like yeah, those mistakes are not very good for the website. Okay, so
This was very easy.
yeah,
With
easy
these
and
changes,
fast. Yeah,
you can continue. You could continue to do that for a while,
yeah.
but let's move on to actually focusing your website. So what we did so far was we rebuilt the website into Coderick,
Mhm.
into editable Coderick project, and then we completely overhauled the design. I feel like now everybody that lands on your website can see that first of all it is different,
Yeah,
but also that it's Mediterranean inspired.
yeah.
And actually, what Victor is doing here right now is he's opening um, his Coderick project as in a preview, so that he can edit it. So he can see it in the way that you would see it live if you
Mhm.
publish it. But there is a banner on top that notifies you
Yeah,
that you're in preview mode,
yeah.
and this is not actually
Yeah,
your
but
real website.
it's really useful because everything I change, I can see it live.
Yeah.
And for example, if I'm like, okay, this picture doesn't fit very well with the design, I can change it right away. And it's like it's not a prolonged back and forth process with I have
Yeah.
to write the theme
Yeah.
or I have to move boxes around. I'm just saying I want to change this.
Yeah, but please
And
don't change the picture.
no,
It's
I
really
like
good.
it as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I like it as well. But the thing that I currently don't like and I want to change because of the new food that I'll be adding to my website. Actually, I need the new categories for my website.
Yeah, I am of the same opinion. When you have this website for Mediterranean food, it would be good to make it even more obvious for your visitors that this is Mediterranean food. And as we know, the Mediterranean is quite big,
Yeah,
so there are a few different types of cuisines that go into it, and they should be able to choose
yeah,
better what they like. So, what did you put in Coderick?
yeah. I have prepared this prompt.
Yeah.
I want to make change to the categories of my recipes. So I'm telling it I need the recipes categories around Mediterranean region, Greek, Italian, Spanish, North Africa, and so on. Give each a short, warm description. I want Kojic to put the copywriters here
Yeah.
again because I don't want the website to feel empty. I can change some things after
Of
that,
course.
but it's a good starting point. And matching images, of course. Use them as filters on the recipe page because I want people and visitors to be able to filter things. But I also want to keep my existing recipes because I'm thinking that
They're great recipes.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the one thing. And the other thing is that I've collected them and I've built these recipes, so I don't want to lose them. And sometimes, you make changes, but the other things are just as strong and you want to have them there. That's why we are rebuilding right now. So because this is a bigger change, just like with rebuild, just like with the changing the design, what is actually Codering doing right now?
Well, it's very interesting, well, to me, but hopefully to you as well. What Coderick is doing is first, yeah, it's taking your direction and
Mhm.
it's implementing it. So this is the filtering that you mentioned, the copy of the new pages to be created, the pictures. So it's going to do all this.
Yeah.
But it's also going to do some things that we might have forgotten about
Mhm.
it. For example, filing your current recipes either under a category if they fit, or in a separate one. I
Yeah.
don't know. It will be a surprise. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to sort through all these issues that we didn't actually tell it how to solve. But in the end of the day, nothing's going to break, and everything will work after the uh, build is complete, which is the good part.
Yeah, and the thing is that mm, I really like the thing that you said, because I could actually tell Coderick I need new categories
Yeah.
for Mediterranean food. And again, Coderick will understand me and take this prompt and add the categories. The thing that I really choose to do right now is give a little bit more context, but you can start with something even simpler, and you can see what is happening. Keep iterating. This is an important thing. You always have to iterate until the moment you're happy with the result. Of course, that you see that everything it's there. I really like that Coderick is saying, let me read the current state carefully before building, because I think this is an important thing, because we don't want anything to break. So Coderick is like checking everything before it starts doing big changes. Good picture of the code base. Oh, it's going in some terms that I'm not so familiar with it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be familiar with
Okay.
them. This is a good part. And what Coderick is going to do with your categories is going to go through the entire process. So we're going to it's going to design them, make sure that they fit well with your current website, and they're not just like a patch on top of something that just something that you put
something
in
that doesn't fit
an
there. Yeah.
afterthought. Yes. Then it's going to go through the building process, and it's going to write the code that it needs to write in order to implement it. As we said, it's going to do copyright, and it's going to come up with some descriptions that are in your tone of voice. It might not be exactly how you would say it, but I feel like it's a good stepping stone, and you could see how it's going to look in the design. It's always good for me to start a little bit bigger and then add in your own personal flavor. It's going to put it,
to edit some things.
yeah, with the visual edit, it definitely is.
Yeah. So I can see that the thing that you were just describing, I can see Coderick saying it here. So it is describing everything that it's doing. This comes from the agentic structure of Coderick, because it's changing these rows that you described. So it's making a new data file, Italian kitchen classics. This is where it puts my old recipes. But the thing is that it understood that some of the old recipes are actually Italian, so it put it in these categories.
Amazing.
And I really like that it's thinking about where to put it on the homepage, what pages we also need. So let's see what happened.
Yeah, I don't remember whether we said it we should be on the home page, but oh wow, there are the categories.
6 shorts, 1 table.
Oh, that's
I really like
amazing.
this copywriting. I think that I'm gonna keep this. Maybe we'll do some changes here and there, but I like this part. And we have like North African kitchen classics. This is my
This
old.
is actually your photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italian, Greek, Spanish. Not maybe the perfect picture for Spanish.
Spanish pizza.
Yeah, very Spanish pizza. But the thing is that we can change it at any point, and this is completely normal. Sometimes an image, for example, maybe not be the perfect one for this, but you can really change it real quick. So yeah, we still don't have any recipes, but when I open the Spanish, the collection, this sounds premium, like a copywriting Spanish, smoky boat. I have these descriptions, and yeah, Italian. It changes the images, and I have this.
And these are your recipes that you've collected.
Yeah.
Very good.
Kitchen classics, all recipes. So it even added this the ducks over there. So yeah, I really like this, how things are coming together, because This wasn't a small change, actually, restricting the website.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I feel like it's first of all it's an improvement for your visitor.
Yeah,
Most of all is that they would be able to better get around the recipes because
yeah,
I'm sure that you're going to travel a lot and collect a lot more
I hope
recipes from
so.
the
Yeah, I hope
Mediterranean,
so.
and this is going to get very full very quick. So it would be good to be able to go around
Hmm.
in a more easy way, but also there is a lot that goes on in the back end with other adding categories. They need to be filed in a certain way. You need to be able to move recipes around,
Yeah,
perhaps change them if you need to. When you add a new recipe, where does it go, etc., etc., etc. Coderick is taking care of all these things that we never said we wanted to do.
I'm just checking the old website with a little bit nostalgia, if I can put it like this. But yeah, the site is there as it was before. We are just making this better version because this is something that we started. So I had this idea to change the direction of my website.
Yeah.
We did it. It's more Mediterranean right now. Um, Based on this, I have this idea to add more categories, and with your help and Codric, we did it.
Yeah, mostly Coderick.
Yeah, mostly Codric. We don't want to take credits where credits are for Codric.
Yeah.
We made some small changes already, so this is taking a different shape, a better shape for me. But I started with this. I want this site to be a little bit more.
Yeah, a community
Yes,
for all your readers. Because there are a lot of recipe websites out there, and I'm sure that yours is one that had some visitors, but you
yes, yeah.
have to have something that brings people back, that makes them want to read your website with your Mediterranean recipes, and that is. At least I think the community feel, so that everyone shares recipes together, and I think this is exactly the feature that we want to do now.
Yeah, this is exactly the feature I want to add community. But if I had different idea for a feature, we can even try, for example, adding a calendar, adding some sort of things differently. But I'm really focused on a community right now,
Yeah.
and usually with builders to add bigger features, it's like you either have to use a plugin, you have to find a team that to do this for you, and of course, let's be honest, you can do it by yourself if you have the technical knowledge, and if you don't, you can teach yourself of this technical knowledge. But are you ready to invest this time when we can like?
Yes, of course. For building a community, what we're going to do is we're going to add a submission form so that
Yeah.
people could add their own recipes to your website. And this is, also a huge benefit for you because you get to try them,
Yes.
all the new recipes. But adding such a feature is so much bigger, much more of a big deal than it sounds from the get go. You can just say, "Oh, I want a form," and this snowballs from there into this huge thing. And we don't want you to start learning new skills. We want you to learn the skills that you want to learn, of course, but let's focus on the business. Let's focus on your website. Let's build there rather than learning how to code or finding a new plugin, reading the documentation for the new plugin, and all of these things that you need to do.
Yeah, the thing is that with simple prompts, we are actually opening time to think more about the business aspect of things,
Yeah.
which is really good to have this option, and to, again, sorry for repeating myself, but to experiment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll see my community feature, I can keep building upon it. It's like the thing that I really like. I'm waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning with an idea, for example, to make the website a little bit more Yellow even. Why
Yeah,
not?
well, it's Mediterranean.
Yeah, but why not? This is sun, sand, something like this. I can do it like in a GIF. I can do it so quickly. And then if I don't like it, my favorite feature, revert. I go to bed and I hope that the morning is wiser than the night, and start with something different. So now the prompt that I'm using is I want to add a functionality which is share your recipe to start building my community, and I'm just giving the elements that I want my form to have, like visitor's name, the recipe title, country of origin of the recipe, ingredients, of course, steps how to cook it. This is an important thing.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah, optional photos, and the thing that I really want to have is the ability to um, yeah, to go through the recipes that people have added, and to check if they're suitable for my website, if they're good enough. So I need to have the ability to approve the recipes. So not everything that people are adding, it turns up right away on the website, because we know internet is a great place, but sometimes there are people who are like, no, I want to make some bad things to your website.
Yeah, it's not jam worthy. Not everything is jam worthy.
So we can see Coderick is working, and what's happening right now, because again, like with the different prompts, we asking a lot of things from Coderick.
Yeah, we asked Coderick to, excuse me, to build a form. We told it what fields to put the form.
Yeah.
However, we didn't say where to put the form.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is something I totally forgot. I was so occupied to have the fields. So,
but I'm sure that it's going to appear somewhere on the website, and it's going to be a good place for it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we end up liking it.
Yeah, actually, I already see that Coderick is thinking about this. It's like now at the shared file input style, he has a header, footer,
Oh yeah, these are things
mobile
we never
overlay
said
menu. Yeah.
we need to do. But going back to mobile, because the website already has mobile version from the get go. Or everything that we built is going to be mobile friendly, which
Yeah.
is a huge benefit because people go to websites on their phones a lot, and especially recipe websites. So, we can see that actually
Let me
this is
just
so
open it
good.
like this. I really like that it's an active button, so people can see it right away.
Yeah, Coderick put it in a very visible place so that people can straight away see that this is something that they could do, share a recipe. And that is sort of unusual for a recipe website. So I feel like this is going to really benefit your community feel. Yeah, it's really good. You put in all the fields that you have that you
Yep.
said you wanted to. However, I think that we don't actually have a place to review the recipes that are submitted. So let's ask Coderick to do that. If we can build an admin panel for where we can easily view the recipes.
Yeah, I'm just giving Coderick the prompt, and something that I'm doing right now. It's just because it's a demo. I'm adding some credentials that for the admin, but don't do this in your time. We are doing this just to save time and to be able to show you more things.
Yeah, but even without the admin, recipes are stored somewhere, and
Yeah.
Coderick is taking care of this. As we mentioned before, adding functionality such as a submission form is something that is a lot harder than it sounds. The Coderick needs somewhere to store the recipes that are submitted. You need to have somewhere to review them. Of course, there is an email address that we request of our visitors. So this should be stored somewhere securely, or at least securely enough. Where do the images go? How do I then, when I choose a recipe to approve, where does it go? All these additional questions come up, and Coderick is taking care of these in the background, and we don't actually need to say anything. Don't need to do anything. As you saw, we don't even think about it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even think about it, but this is the Coderick's thinking head. If
Yeah.
you continue talking about heads, and something that you mentioned is database, and the thing is that you don't even know, you don't need to know what a database is. Codric sets the database when it's needed, and you don't even need to open it. I mean, everything is, we're doing this right now, adding the admin panel, so we can have this better control over the website. And the thing is that once we have the admin panel, we can actually continue building on top of it, like adding functionalities to change recipes from the admin panel, not talking to Coderic for changing recipes, or to add a proper blog section of my website where I'm telling stories, and I can add this option from the admin panel. Everything happens with just prompts. And when I think about, because I have experience with CMS from before,
From a previous nightmare.
yeah, from a previous nightmare, a big site with beautiful media that I was working in. It was really a nightmare, and the CMS, because I'm sure there are developers among you. You know how many hours is to build a CMS.
Yeah.
And this will make your job a lot easier, just telling Coderic and with your experience. And I'm pretty sure you have HTML files. You can give it to Coderic and like shorten the process so much. And because this is another big thing that we are adding, Coderic is taking its time to start building. It's actually already started, but to work on the admin panel. But the thing that I wanted to share here is because I didn't tell Coderic to add a story to this to this part, but because the whole topic of my website is stories, it's the stories that you experience and so on. Coderic understood this, and it's like it added. I started this site because I believe the recipes aren't just instructions.
Yeah, I feel like Coderic really felt your vibe,
Yeah.
and it understood what you what your vision for your website is.
Yeah, so we'll be waiting a little bit more for this to continue, and maybe during this time we can go and check some questions from the audience. What do
Sure.
you say?
Let's see.
Just let me change screens. And yeah, so we are here. We'll just leave Coderic working a little bit more on the admin panel. This is something which is not unexpected because we did a lot of big changes. So let us work. Let's Coderic keep working.
Yeah.
And we are going to the more pleasant part, because we're not working. We're talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just go through the questions. Yeah, please. Thank you so much for leaving the questions in the QA part. This is so much easier for you, for us. And yeah, keep the questions coming. So let's start with this, because I saw some variations of these questions a couple of times. What if my website has way more than 5 pages? I saw another question that a person tried Coderic, but their website has a blog section with a lot of blogs there. And as we said, Coderic copies up to 5 pages. So in these situations, what can people do? What other options they have?
Yeah, well, as we said before, a very easy option is to actually export your content in a file format and upload it into Coderic. Whether this is in HTML, it could be some sort of a file, a Word file, a CSV file. It could be screenshots, but you can, and Coderic has the ability to take in many files at a time, so you don't have to go one by one. And it could be like quite big as well.
Yeah.
But so this is an easy way to do it, and because I see that this is something that a lot of people are asking about, I feel at liberty to share that this is an exciting thing that we're working on, is to actually keep bringing more and more content into Coderick, and being able to, after a rebuild, easily bring all your additional content into Coderick. So keep your eyes peeled about communication from Victor about this new feature that's coming up.
Yeah, I hope it will be soon, and just wait
Yeah, we're excited about it.
for the email. So we have a couple of questions which are SEO related.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so many questions. I'm trying to know. Thank you so much for the questions. And actually, after the webinar is over, we're gonna prepare the recording. We're gonna send you the recording of the webinar, and because we won't have time for all the questions, we will prepare extensive blog post with answers to the questions. So yeah, we'll be sending this to you so you can find the answers, and of course, you can always keep asking questions under the blog post. So the communication don't stop. Um, so a lot of questions. How do you access the webinar? I'm gonna skip this because we already shared this. Can I still use it if my websites are bilingual?
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. You can, like, we're chatting with Coderick in English right now because obviously the webinar is in English and we assume that most of you speak English, but you can chat with Coderick in any language you want. It's actually going to pick up the language that you use to chat with it, and your website or web app is going to be in this language. You can also ask it to create a multilingual website. You can ask it to translate.
Yeah,
Easy.
you can do a lot, and depending on the language you start typing, this is the language you use.
And it will chat with you in this language.
Yeah. I'm just sorting the questions on the most votes. The one that has the most is what's the difference between Coderick AI and SiteGround AI? I suppose you mean AI Studio and the SiteGround plugin for WordPress, the AI plugin.
Probably.
Yeah, it's a big difference because Coderick AI is AI builder. With Coderick AI, you can build websites, web apps, and as you can see, you can bring your site and work on it. While the AI Studio is it's more like different agents that you can use to create content, to create, for example, emails, to do things on your website. So if Coderick AI is a builder, AI Studio is more like the chats that you use to do some work, which can be SEO work, copywriting, etc.
And the plugins are obviously for WordPress. While Coderick, you can bring whatever technology your website or your web app is at. It doesn't matter. Coderick is going to copy it because it doesn't actually take the code and put it in. It changes it up a little bit because it's in a React app. So it changes it to React, and this is what the main difference is. The ones are WordPress, which WordPress is brilliant, but we also have Coderick that is
it's a different technology. I mean, you're building just with your words, no moving of anything, installing plugins. I'm just putting the Q&A session on a pause for a little bit, just to get back to Coderick, because Coderick is done.
He's done with the admin.
Yeah, it's done. It did so many things that you can see in the chat. Let me read the current CSS. Good, everything confirmed. Database, the thing that we're talking. Coderick is doing this everything automatically.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's making the profile for me to enter. It's creating the admin pages, and it's working on pending approve. It did so many things. So let's just test it.
Admin.
Yeah, so we are going to the
admin URL.
Admin URL. I'm already
actually left a little something.
Yeah, I was wondering what's here because I know that my website is still not published. So I'm like, did Coderick did this just to please me that it's working?
I must
Okay.
admit I was distracted for a minute because I wanted to leave you with a present, a recipe for tzatziki, which is a very popular Greek dish.
Yeah.
Because I won't be with you tomorrow, I'm traveling to Greece, and while you miss me at work, you
I'll be
can make
here answering
yourself a batch.
questions. Yeah, preparing the blog post for you guys.
Yeah, and I'll be on a beach in Greece, thinking about the webinar and
Yeah.
later, of course.
Yeah, just promise me one thing. While you're in Greece, please collect recipes for my
Will
website.
do. This
So,
is my special task.
yeah, by Rennie, I see it here. You submitted pending. So it's my decision to either approve or reject. Okay, I will approve it. So yeah, I
But
can
you
see.
could go back if you've rejected it by mistake, of course.
Yeah, I can go back and change this at
Yeah.
any time. So let's see, community, and yeah, here this is your recipe.
Yeah.
I can view it here, and yeah, I have everything. So it's
I'm very proud to be the first contributor
Yeah,
to
thank
the community.
thank you so much. It's great having you on my website and on
It's
the
great to
webinar,
be
actually.
on the website and the webinar.
So yeah, we did a completely new functionality, something that my website couldn't do before, and we did it again with the prompt,
Yeah,
which is great.
this website looks so much different, I must say.
Yeah, let me just
It's
check
it's completely different. It
the
has a
dimension of
different
it.
feel. It has new functionalities. So it has categories. The recipes are filed in a more user-friendly way. It has this community functionality, and there is a hidden admin that only you have access to,
Yeah.
and only the however many people are in the webinar know the URL too.
Yeah, that I have it in the password. Please don't. But the website is still not
It's
live.
not live, yeah.
But if I'm right, I'm happy right now because I have this completely new functionality, which is crazy that we added it without understanding coding, design, or whatever. If I want to publish my website, which is a great thing with because I told you it's all-in-one web coding tool. I can just press publish, and I'll do it.
It's done. Yeah.
It's published, so successfully published. Right now it has this domain, but at the moment that I'm feeling ready, I can transfer my domain and share the website with everyone. But yeah, here this is the my live website, which looks so much different. I still have my own content. I still have the pictures that I like from my old content, but I have so many other things. I see things that I can change after that, move things around, which is totally okay. But I think that it's a good start, and I even have your recipe here.
I'm very excited about this. Well, I really like it, and I hope that this turns out into a really good business for you. But yeah, let's see the questions.
So the next, which is voted the most, is what is the cost after the free trial? You can visit Coderick.ai, the website, because we have different tiers, and depending on what you want to build, how many pages you want to build. So prices start from 10 USD. So check it. But you can buy additional credits if you want. A lot of options. So start with the free trial. See what's happening, see which plan would be most useful for you. But the thing is that each plan has everything, and each plan has the option to publish. So don't worry about this. I work with WordPress and Divi. Can I use Coderick?
You can move your website to Coderick, but as we said, Coderick is a React app, so you can't use it in WordPress.
Yeah, if the question is, can I move? Can I rebuild the website in Coderick? You can rebuild it. If the question is, can I integrate Coderick in my website? Those are different technologies.
But there is a plugin for this.
I think that there is a plugin for everything, but you have to work so hard with the plugins. I'm going through the most voted questions. Does it work with a site with 50 plus pages and WooCommerce? This is something that we discuss. But yeah, you.
Yeah, you could have a large site. Actually, something that is super recent in Coderick from the beginning of this week is that we have payments integrations with
Yeah.
Stripe. So there's nothing stopping you for having a store in Coderick.
So I have a couple. I see a couple of questions relating about SEO.
Mhm.
So when I rebuild my website in Codric, what happens with the SEO?
Okay, so when you rebuild the website, we don't actually copy the SEO for in the original website. However, with a very simple prompt, which is something along the lines of please Codric, improve my SEO or make my SEO better. It doesn't need to be specific at all. Codric knows very much about SEO. It's going to build all your necessary things that it could be missing, such as robots.txt, LLM.txt to optimize with AI engines. It will optimize the meta tags, everything that is needed for good SEO. Is part of the code Coderic is going to do. And obviously the content, we just transfer the content. So that part of the SEO is already there.
Yet we have questions that I'm just browsing through because there are a lot of questions. I'm trying to combine them.
Okay.
Can does it work with pages that are unpublished? And do we have can we use it on a live site, or should we just be using staging or test sites?
So for unpublished pages, no, because it needs a way to
Yeah.
access these pages. Same for stage versions of your websites. It cannot if it cannot access it on the internet. Because as we said, it's like an AI bot. It takes public information. It's not going to copy things that are not visible, such as integrations, specific code, databases. These things are not visible for Codric, and it cannot copy it. So for this reason, it would be better to work with a published site, and you can expect for everything that is published to be available for Codric. However, your unpublished pages, again, as with the content that you want to bring over, you can export them in some whatever form you would like and import them into Codric and make them live whenever you feel like they should be live.
Yeah, just to test, experiment, try things. And yeah, this is the beauty of Coderic. This is the thing that I love very much because I'm testing so much site and web apps, and this is the thing. Sometimes because before that it was like, I think I have an idea
Guys,
and how to do it, but right now I think I have an idea. Let's try it. See that it's not working, but at least I know.
I
And
feel
sometimes
like
my ideas will start working.
I feel like Victor is going to become a business mogul in a couple of years with a bunch of different businesses, websites, web apps they run on SiteGround.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions which are like compare Coderic AI to WordPress, compare it to different CMS, different types of platforms. The thing is that Coderic AI is something that we said, AI website builder. You build through vibe coding, which means like chatting with Coderic. So it's a different platform than the thing that I mentioned.
Yeah, and it really depends on what your needs and what your wants are. So if you feel like you're confident in your WordPress or whatever you're using right now, and this works well for you, then brilliant. We want to support you in the best way, whatever works for you. But if you feel like you would like to vibe code, you would like to do something that is you do it yourself and you don't perhaps have the capabilities, you can try Coderic, and you can always try. And this is how you find out what fits your needs best, is by trying stuff out and seeing whether it works. And this is what the free trial is for, after all. You can check it out, and if it works for you, brilliant. If it doesn't, also, that's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, experiment. This is the thing. So because we are like 10 minutes over time, and I see that a lot of questions.
I'm so happy that people are engaging. Thank you very much.
Yeah, can I add? This is just a random question because I'm browsing. Gallery style page with lightbox effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally do this.
You can, the same question that you've asked in the chat, just put in Coderick and do it.
Does this mean my website is no longer on WordPress, etc., and is now on the Coderick platform?
Okay, this is a brilliant
How
question.
secure it is also.
So when we crawl your website, it's still wherever it was before.
Yeah.
This is still live as long as you don't delete it or do anything to it. This is still there. If you choose to move your website to Coderick, first of all, you can have two websites, just like Victor has right now. He has his original website that we built from, and he also published his other Coderick website with a different URL, and they're both live on the internet together right now. And you can change your domain. You can choose to change your domain to your original website, and this is when your website will become a Coderick website. And Coderick boasts with the same security as any SiteGround website, because it is mounted on the same infrastructure. And this is a really good thing about it, because it's yet another thing you don't have to think about, and you don't have to worry about security and about database and stuff like this.
Yeah, and the thing is that, speaking about database, the database in the same infrastructure as you said.
It's also very
It's not a third party. Everything is here at SiteGround infrastructure. So
if you submit your recipes to Victor's website,
yeah, don't worry about
your emails are safe.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you guys so much. We are like 10 minutes late, but all your questions are great. I'm trying to find questions that are different from the ones that we asked. But yeah, just we'll prepare answers in the blog post, and we'll send it to you so you can keep reading, keep experimenting, and of course keep asking those questions in the blog, or write it as. While we were talking, I wanted to try something for the end of the webinar.
What was it?
Yeah, I'll share this. I'll share again.
Well, I didn't see anything, so I'm excited to see what it was.
Yeah, I wanted to make this the community part even better. So I taught Coderick to add map to show where each recipe comes from. So here it is, community, and now I have a map.
And this is my recipe.
Yeah, your recipe comes from Greece, as you can see. And when I have more, I'll see it here. And for example, from Italy, and I'll have a dot on Italy. And then one point to have a lot. Let's just not be Mediterranean. Have a lot of dots on my website. But this is the thing. This is something that you think about and test it, and when it looks good,
I really like it. It looks great. And you just said, I want to map my recipes.
Yeah.
And what Coderick did was it found a provider. It integrated with it. It put like the right Mediterranean, because yeah, this is I think this is amazing. And it put the indicator on the map from my recipe, my personal recipe that I shared to Greece. Yeah, this is amazing.
The thing is that we're doing this with a hobby website, but everything you see, the way we are prompting, we're just sometimes talking like really plain to Coderick. You can do it for business websites, for your own personal websites. Regardless, this is just a map for recipes, but it could be map for all the location, all your offices, etc., etc. So test everything. So just for wrapping this up, we started from a website that now I think it's even more outdated than I thought before that.
It's still good. It's
Yeah,
really
it's still good, but I have a lot of work on my new version of the website. So we brought the content, we brought the content in Coderick so we can edit it a lot easier. We changed the design to be to answer the pivot for my recipes. We added categories. We added a totally new feature, which is
Yeah,
adding
which
a
is the
recipe.
form,
Yeah,
the submit form for adding this community field, but also a new submission form feature that has its own database
yeah.
and its own admin and its own map.
Yeah, so we did this in like 30 minutes or less. And if we weren't talking to you guys, maybe we could do even more. So you can do a lot more. Go to Coderick.ai, start a free trial, try it, experiment. And yeah, just don't put any limitation of your ideas. Coderick is for this to liberate your ideas.
Yeah.
So thank you for sticking up with us. We hope that you like the presentation, and yeah, see you next time.
See you soon.